Welcome back to PS We're Exploring. In part one, we learn about the journey and motivation behind Huzima's research. In part two, we're getting into a brief history, Ghana's role in slavery, what really happened, and the things many people misunderstand. Let's continue the conversation with Huzeima. Next up, I asked about Ghana's role in the slave trade. For example, say slaves were being sold to different people because they were captives and all that. Did you learn anything like that in school?
So that is not being taught in school, but that history, I'm well aware of
Yeah.
it. And I think not explicitly talking about it creates a lot of misunderstanding. It does more harm than good. Because when
Yes.
you look at Ghana as a country and you look at the ethnic groups and the chiefs and merchants that were involved, they were the minority.
Yes.
Majority
Yes.
of Ghanaians were victims. Their families
Yeah.
were captured either in war, in rapes, kidnapping, and other things. And so being silent makes it look like Ghanaians were capturing Ghanaians. But then there is a context to it. Ethnic groups were fighting against each other. War captives were captured and sold. And it wasn't all ethnic groups in Ghana that was involved. It was few ethnic groups. And within the ethnic groups, there were victims as well. It was the chiefs and the merchants who has the capacity and the capability to do that. And so not providing the context, the clarity, it brings a lot of misunderstanding, misconceptions, and also, let me say, repeated victimization of certain people, because those who are not in Ghana also, Ghanaians sold us, but then within Ghana, people are suffering because their families were captured. They were consistently marginalized in the process. And so, for example, if a diasporan meets a particular ethnic group in Ghana that's were victimized during the slave trade and their families taken away, they are still also suffering from it and say, you sold me. You see what it is causing. That person, they never took part in it. They were victims. Maybe there are even families that they are not aware of. But because of the lack of clarity and context, people think every Ghanaian must have been a participant. Meanwhile, majority were victims. And I think that providing that clarity, saying some ethnic groups took part, when it comes to even the ethnic groups, it was the chiefs and the merchants who were capable of doing that. Majority of the ordinary citizens couldn't have taken part in it. And so I think that clarity, it is necessary. Yeah. It is difficult, it is sensitive, but
Yeah.
it is necessary. Yeah. Thank you.
So it's on both sides. So it brings me now, because that's in the past, and we have to accept our past, know the past in order to move forward. That's what I'm getting from what you just said.
Yeah.
Now we came to the year of return, right? What does it mean to you personally? You're a student, you're in the educational system, and I know you're a brilliant young woman. What does it really mean to you?
So the year of return, in simple terms, I will say when you hear it without context, and ordinary Ghanaians, when they hear the year of return, they may not understand who is returning. That is the perspective I want to take it from. The year of return, who is returning? Why are they returning? And I think that internal message for Ghanaians to understand what the year of return means was not really that kind of publicity, that kind of dissemination, that sort of education, local education did not go on before the year of return. But as someone who is in default, I will say the year of return is not just symbolic as in, yes, it brought a lot of diaspora, but it also start like a connection between the diaspora and Ghana, regardless of its symbolic reason, because it brought a lot of diaspora to Ghana. And many wouldn't have made it if not because of how the year of return was packaged to them. So they came back, and I will say, they came back to trace their roots, to know where they come from, and in a way, to start the healing process, because sometimes you need closure. You just need to see what happened. Where did it all start? And so, regardless of the reasons behind it, whether it was just tourism purpose, it was just symbolic, at the end of the day, those who came, they got the opportunity to really go to the dungeons to know what happened, try to process their emotions, and also to open their hearts to start the healing process if necessary. And I think that alone, I feel like, yeah, was worth something, because sometimes closure matters when it comes to who we are as a people. And I do empathize with the diaspora, because when it comes to identity, who are you? Some have done DNA and they said, oh, I think I was listening to Idris Elba, who said he did his DNA and he was like 10% Ghanaian, 10% Nigerian, 20% Zulu or something. And it is sad to know that you identify as African, but then you cannot really say, I come from this particular country in Africa. And that just shows that Africans, we are one people. The division happened artificially because of some people, and not because we were actually divided. And so for me, it's more like homecoming, and how the diaspora, how you feel matters more, because if you really see it as homecoming, then it is homecoming. The feeling that you get from coming, I think it is what matters most. If you feel at peace, if you feel like this is home, you are actually returning back home. And I think that's the feeling that matters most to me. So how you feel matters, yeah.
These are not easy conversations, but they're necessary ones. Thank you for watching part 2, and I'll see you in part 3. Please subscribe, like, and share.